In the heart of Suburb City lies Superhero School, where all super kids go to learn to be superheroes. On the first day of Superhero School, all of the super kids arrived, eager to start their day. Zoomerella zipped through the gate using her super speed.
Zoom on!
Super Bouncy Boy bounced to the front door.
Go, Bouncy, go!
Weather Girl arrived and activated her super sun to shine on the school.
Weather wham!
Noodle Boy gulped nervously.
Look at all of those kids. Their powers sure look super, don't they?
All Noodle Boy could do was make noodles.
Noodle power isn't super. Not at all.
The first class of the day was flying class. Zoomerella was up first. She used her super speed to fly around the classroom. She went this way, she went that way.
Zoom on!
Noodle Boy watched, wishing he could be that fast. It was Noodle Boy's turn to fly.
Noodle power!
But instead of flying, he just rolled over his rigatoni.
Noodle power isn't super. Not at all.
In shapeshifting class, Super Bouncy Boy transformed into a giant bouncy ball.
Go, Bouncy, go!
Boing, boing, boing. Super Bouncy Boy bounced all over the classroom. Noodle Boy wished he could turn into a cool shape like that. When it was his turn to shapeshift, he cried,
Noodle power!
And turned into a piece of elbow macaroni. Squish.
Noodle power isn't super. Not at all.
During super strength class, Weather Girl activated her whirlwind power and lifted all of the desks up off the ground.
Weather wham!
Wow, Weather Girl.
Noodle Boy said, wondering if he could be that strong. Noodle Boy tried to use his Fusilli noodles to lift up one of the desks.
Noodle power!
He bounced right on his bottom.
Noodle power isn't super. Not at all.
Suddenly, a giant beam of light shined through the window. It was the Superkids signal. There must be trouble in Suburb City. Principal Goodguy's voice boomed. Superkids, you have done excellent work in your classes. Now it's time to put your superpowers to the test. An evil villain named Dr. Goo has gooed up the playground. There's goo on the swings, the slide, and even the monkey bars. You need to stop him. Just as the super kids arrived at the playground, they heard a loud kapow, blammo, spaloosh, squatch. Standing at the top of the slide was the ooeyest, gooeyest, slimiest bad guy the super kids had ever seen.
I am Dr. Goo, the baddest bad guy around. And I've covered your playground with goo! No one will ever be able to play again!
No! We love our playground! You won't get away with this!
Yes, I will! No one can stop me in my slippery goo wand!
I can stop you! Zoom on!
Cried Zoomerella, trying to zip around Dr. Goo to make him dizzy.
Gah-goo!
Dr. Goo slimed the ground in front of Zoomerella, and she ran right into the sticky goo.
It's my turn. Go, Bouncy, go!
Yelled Super Bouncy Boy as he turned into a giant ball to bounce into Dr. Goo.
Gah-goo!
Dr. Goo created a wall of goo, and Super Bouncy Boy bounced right into it.
You can't goo me! Weather wham!
Shouted Weather Girl, sending her rain cloud to thunder down on Dr. Goo.
Gah-goo!
Dr. Goo sent a goo cloud above Weather Girl's rain cloud, and it rained goo on top of her. The super kids were stuck.
I'm the super kid's last hope.
Noodle Boy came out of his hiding spot, took a deep breath and faced Dr. Goo.
Noodle power!
He cried and let loose a bunch of bouncy, springy Fusilli noodles. Dr. Goo turned around just in time for the noodles to knock his goo wand right out of his gooey hands. It worked!
My precious goo wand! I need that! Without it, I have no goo!
Nothing could stop Noodle Boy now.
Noodle power!
He said confidently and used his spaghetti noodles to wrap up Dr. Goo.
You can't get your goo wand if you can't move. Your gooing days are over.
Uh-oh.
The Superkids cheered.
You did it, Noodle Boy! You stopped Dr. Goo!
Noodle Boy smiled and turned to Dr. Goo.
Dr. Goo, here's what I want to know. Why did you want to goo up the playground? Don't you like to play?
Dr. Goo sighed.
When I was a little goo boy, I couldn't play on the playground. I got stuck on the slide. I slid off the swings, and I made the monkey bars icky sticky. None of the kids would play with me, so the playground makes me so sad.
We'll play with you, Dr. Goo.
You will? But how? I'm too sticky.
Noodle Boy knew what to do,
Noodle power!
and in a flash, he untied Dr. Goo.
Noodle power!
He cried again, pressing the lasagna noodle on his pasta power belt. A lasagna noodle came hurtling towards Dr. Goo, attaching to his backside.
Noodle Boy, what are you doing?
Dr. Goo, with my powerful lasagna noodles, you'll never stick to the slide again. Now you can play on the playground with us.
Hooray! Thank you, Noodle Boy.
Noodle Boy smiled.
I guess noodle power is pretty super after all.